Good evening, parents, professionals, and volunteers who have joined for today's evening talk of Prerna's journey of 10 years. I welcome you all once again, and thanks for parents being right on time. And it's very nice to see more than 39 participants together joining at 4:30. Yesterday, I was introducing a couple of our executive committee members. Now, I would like to share that today's speaker is one of our founding executive committee member, who is Sujit Sukumaran. And I also would like to share that we have two of our executive committee members who have joined us today from India. That is no other than Sajita Gopal and Vaishnavi Gopal. Can you wave your hand, please? Thank you. Welcome for joining us. It's great. Now, I think probably I should not take much time. Just to share once again, all the activities what our children have done since last couple of weeks have been combined together by our youth team and have produced a video which we will be showing every day. What you saw today will be again with new videos of new activities will be shown every day. Now, without spending much time, I would request our executive committee member, Ambarwalan, who is popularly known as Ambi, to introduce today's topic and the speaker. Over to you, Ambi.
Good afternoon and namaste to all of you. I'm very much pleased to welcome the speaker of the day, Mr. Sujit Sukumaran. Sujit needs no introduction to the community who are in Dubai or UAE for some time. He is a distinguished Toastmaster, TEDx speaker, a disability rights advocate, winner of the Dubai Quality Award for Innovation in Training for the year 2012, and founder and CEO of the Optimus Management Consultants, a boutique consulting firm in Dubai. Sujit started his career as an HR practitioner. Over the years, his practice expanded through steady engagements as a business coach, life coach, corporate and soft skills trainer, graphologist, and motivational speaker too. He works with businessmen, chief executives, schools, students, and professional bodies as a coach and the trainer. His esoteric passions includes Vedic astrology, Vastu Shastra, numerology, and other divinative methods. An avid practitioner and advocate of science of mudra, to which his interest was stemmed from his inability to do the yoga exercise due to his cerebral palsy. I welcome Sujit to share his thoughts and give the insight on mudras in our daily life to the Prerna family members. Welcome, Sujit.
Thank you. Good afternoon, and thank you everyone for being here. I hope I'm still visible and audible at any point of time. If the audio or the video goes for a toss, please let me know. I'm sharing my screen now. So is the screen visible?
Yes, it started. You can go to the full screen presentation mode.
1 second. Okay, meaning, okay, I'll go into the slideshow and from current slide. Okay, perfect. So now it's gone to full screen. So yes, when we talk about mudras as a discipline, now we need to understand, I'll take you through a brief overview of what it means, and then we'll get into the essentials of the postures, because I always like to show and I always like to teach in a way that the foundation is first strong and then you build up. So how it will work is I'll show you what mudras are today, who can do it, how we can do it, why we should do it. And then of course you can keep sending me questions via Mohanji on WhatsApp. I've already received a few questions, and after the end of the session, I'll try to answer all the questions that are asked. But yeah, if there are specific things which I need to take offline, I will be happy to assist you after that also. So technically mudras are nothing but it is a close cousin, but a very unglamorous cousin, if you can call it, of yoga, because unfortunately, even though it's much more subtle and much more powerful, it has not received the kind of PR and publicity that yoga has in all these years. Because obviously, what can you do? You cannot put an Instagram photograph next to a temple in Bali doing mudras, right? You can do that with an asana, but you cannot do it with mudra. But the difference is where classical yoga and all the exercise domain works on the physique and the muscles. Mudras technically works more on the central nervous system and the back end mechanics of the body, which controls the muscles and the other systems. So essentially speaking, if your nerves are still in order, you still have 70 to 80% of a possibility to do many things which you cannot do with your body by doing mudras. It's especially useful for those who may not have a flexible enough body or a malleable enough body and still want to get the full range of therapeutics that probably yoga affords. So mudra as a cognate word technically is two words. It means mud means bliss and ra means to draw, which means technically if you practice mudras every day, you become more blissful, and of course physically you get a glow, mentally you get some kind of enlightenment. I've not reached there yet, but I'm on the way, and it can help you in day-to-day practice. There are multiple types of mudras which are indicative for different conditions. There are time periods of the day when you must do it. There are also number of iterations that you should do it, and we usually prescribe it in a set of 2 or 3 or maximum 4 to 5 a day, depending on how serious your conditions are and who and what, how it needs to be diagnosed. Now, if you go into the next thing, what you need to know is these are the house rules or the best practices that you need to know with regards to mudras. Ideal time is, see, there is something called Sandhi Kala in Sanskrit, which is the junction period between two major parts of the day. It means pre-dawn and after the sunrise, that junction point. Madhyana Sandhya, or the afternoon, which is neither day nor the afternoon. So neither day nor the afternoon, the middle point there. And the Sayam Sandhya, which is the period between the sundown and the early evening. There is a particular point. These 3 times are the best times in terms of the oxygenation in the air and the energy that is there, that if you practice mudras, it will have the best effect. Place, it can be done anywhere at any time. I've done mudras while in the car, while in a flight, sometimes even in the bathroom. It doesn't have any prohibitions that way. Diet usually on an empty stomach, because blood otherwise is more in the stomach than in the extremities. Combinations, some are single hand called asamyukta. You can do it with only one hand. Some you can hold it on both hands. And sometimes what you need to watch out for is, before we start the therapeutics during this session today, the mudras I have chosen from the body available are the safest ones, but still that does not mean that it is suitable for everyone. Please check with your constitution and your case history before you start attempting it. Having said that, there are no side effects. The only effects you will come to know is you will start feeling funny if something is not matching to your constitution. Then immediately stop and alternate. So it's usual that sometimes some people feel nausea when they do certain mudras. They can feel heartburn, dizziness, and sometimes you feel pulsation there. As long as it's not too much of a spark and you won't get electrocuted, that's fine. So you need to be mindful. It's not just like, okay, the difference is when you do yoga, you know where it is stretching, where it is paining. Mudras are far more deep in a way that you will not know where it's going and hitting. After a while, you'll start getting the effect. I've usually seen even after 2-3 days of practicing a mudra, that's when it hits. It's like going to the gym and then first day you don't feel anything when you pump all the weights. After 2 days, then you'll start feeling pain in places of your body that you didn't know existed before. So that's how sometimes mudras kicks in. Age group, anybody, and this I have included this point especially because so many people have asked me, can kids do mudras? Can young children do mudras? Yes, of course, anybody from age 5. Why? Because before age 5, I don't think you can get them to sit down in a place and connect their fingers together. I have a small daughter, so I know how restless they can be. Now, what about people with special needs, disabilities, and other kind of spectrum disorders that they may have? It is highly advised. The children who cannot do it themselves, you can assist them by holding their hands. For physical conditions like mine, for example, cerebral palsy, you can use a variety of mudras with effects. Of course, you cannot be unrealistic that it's not going to allow you to walk normally and all that again. But I have personally, from experience, by using it, my flexibility has improved. My muscle pain has definitely gone down. and my recovery time means when I go to the gym and then before I get tired fast, I won't go to the gym for another 3 days. This recovery time has reduced. During your periods, only certain mudras can be used. Others are avoided because of the body constitution. Seniors and bedridden people can practice in sleeping position or lying down position also. There's no particular prohibition on that. Now, there are two prohibitions alone in mudras. There are two mudras called Bhumi Sparsha and Chin Mudra, which anyway we will not be talking about during the course of this session. Barring those two, all the positions of all the mudras are palm facing upwards. Only these two, usually we go palm facing downwards because there's a different energy involved in this. So these are the house rules as we start. Now, before you understand the concept of any mudra per se, you need to understand the foundation behind how this works is that the body of literature has divided that each of our hand fingers are divided into different elements. Like you have the thumb is Agni, the index finger is Vayu. There's a typo on this particular slide. I'll change it and send it to you when I'm sending the correct one. Akasha or space is the middle finger. Prithvi or earth is the ring finger, and Jala or water is the little finger. So all these 5 elements are equally distributed among these 5 fingers, whether you're a male or a female, left hand or right hand, it's the same position. The combination of these by joining particular fingers is where you actually get the mudra to work. So different mudras by permutation combination are given different names. When held in particular ways, combining 1 or 2 or all 5 or 4 or 3 fingers with each other, with the remaining unconnected, it forms a particular posture called the mudra, which is given a particular name and a particular cause and effect, and the ability to alleviate a particular condition. So this is all that there is. Any questions or any doubts until this point? Are we clear on the basic ground rules? Because I need all of you to be clear with the ground rules before I go ahead, because otherwise you will get more and more confused as I go into the deep areas. If there's anything, I'm happy to clarify until this point. Otherwise, I can continue.
Please continue. I don't have any questions on chat box till now. When I get, I will share with you.
Perfect, perfect. So the first of our mudras today is a mudra called the Prithvi Mudra. Now, as the name says, now this is a part of a family of mudras called the Pancha Tattva Mudras. There are 5 elements, the same 5 elements that you saw in the fingers. This is part of general practice. Whether you have a condition, don't have a condition, you can still do it because it is the fundamental mudra which balances the earth element in the body. Now, how you do it is you take your hand, and this is the ring finger here, this one. You join it with your thumb, and all the other 3 fingers remain outward. And this is used as an energy deficit recharge. If you understand the concept of chakras, it's the strengthener for the anal sphincter or the Mooladhara chakra. It rejuvenates you faster. It intensifies your sense of smell if you're losing it. It's a great revitalizer for nail, hair, skin, and bones. So it's a one-stop beauty parlor, if you can call it that way. It restores balance while walking. That's very good because I used to fall a lot. Once I started doing this, I don't fall as much. Probably you can think about it is something which makes you more rooted to the ground. It stimulates body temperature, like people who have metabolism issues, people who constantly complain that they feel cold at the slightest of the AC being switched on. All these things Prithvi Mudra can help. It strengthens the liver and stomach. People who are not having appetite, people who are anxious. I think this was the first question that was asked. People who are anxious, people who get easily angry and who are always in a state of worry. Doing Prithvi Mudra on a daily basis will allow you to get greater acceptance of things that you cannot change. It's a very simple mudra, but among the most powerful of mudras available, because once the earth element is strong, your foundation is really, really strong. Anything else that you build will depend upon the strength of this particular mudra. Time period, ideally do it before afternoon times, in the morning time, like between like sunrise till till 12 noon because this is directly connected to the heat of the sun. You can do it as frequently as needed. Essentially, if you're doing it as a medicative practice, you need to do it 3 times a day, daily for 15 minutes per iteration. That will give you the desired result and the effects that you require from this particular mudra. Now, another thing is, you might have a question, should I press hardly, means in a very hard way on the tips of the fingers? No, just keep it. What you need to do is when you're connecting fingers together, observe the teardrop shaped this particular fleshy part, what is there on the tip of your finger. You need to just lightly keep your other finger on that particular point so that you actually close the circuit loop. That will do. You don't need to press hard or anything like that. So this is the Prithvi Mudra, or the earth element gesture, which actually gives you a lot of foundation in terms of most of your vital organs, gives you a glow, improves your senses and all the 5 senses. It restores balance while walking, and it generally keeps you in good health if you don't do anything funny with your immune system. So this is the Prithvi Mudra. It's one of the Pancha Tattva Mudras among all the other 5 mudras. So now we shall go to the next one. Okay. Now this one is called the Varuna Mudra or the Jala Mudra. This is obviously the mudra to do with water. And how many of you, when you were in school, when you want to go to the washroom, you actually show your little finger, teacher, I want to go to the bathroom? That's because this is the element of water. So when the bladder is full, this is the first finger which gets stimulated. It usually increases the water element within the body. It's good for dryness of the eyes and skin. If you have like flaky skin or stuff like that, Varuna Mudra will definitely help you. Indigestion, constipation, anemia, cramps, either menstrual or non-menstrual, whatever it is, even through exercise cramps, and dehydration, it definitely helps. Means anything which involves strenuous physical activity, and after that you have either lost water or you need water, or you need to regulate the water element in the body, Varuna Mudra will definitely help. Summer season, this is exceptionally helpful because it makes sure that you don't have overheating boils and stuff on your body, and you generally will not get irritable or irritated if the Jala Mudra is in balance in your body. It will keep you cool. It will keep you more enduring in very hot circumstances, whether temperature wise or whether you're feeling personally irritated. So it's also a good idea to do Varuna Mudra on a regular basis for people who have frequent temper tantrums and temper issues. It is helpful in that regard. So first we covered Prithvi. Now we covered Varuna or Jala Mudra. This is another of the mudras that are available.
Sujit, one
Yes.
small
Yeah.
While you are showing the mudras in the picture,
Yeah.
one of the parent is requesting if you show physically also in.
Sure, no problem. So the first mudra I already showed you, Prithvi, how to do it. For Varuna, basically what you do is you bend your little finger, and the other 3 fingers can be on top, and the thumb finger should latch over the little finger. This way, you can either do it with one hand or you can hold the other hand with support like this. Basically, just same like the image. If you like to see my hand better than the zoomed in image, so be it. So this is how you do it. You bring your little finger into the pit of your palm. You hold the thumb finger on top of the little finger, and you can either hold it like this for more strength, but you can also do it without holding it also. So this is the Varuna or the Jala Mudra. So that is about it. Wait, I think a message has come. Let me see what it is. One second. Can you? Okay, the Mudra live I have shown you. How long do we start initially? I mean, from beginning 15 minutes. Yeah, ideally, see, you should bringing it together takes 2 seconds. Then you just keep it like that. Nobody's asking you to do anything. 15 minutes, if you can hold, well and good. Even if you do lesser than that, there's no crime or anything that you're committing. You can always increase it as your endurance increases. But if you're doing it for therapy, then 15 minutes in a shot. If you're doing it for daily maintenance, I personally say like 5-6 minutes, you can do it. Any particular time we need to practice this, or any time in a day? I think I've already talked about that, Sahanaji, that Prithvi is best done when the sun is up, before the sun starts descending, meaning in the morning, as early as sunrise till the noon time. I've already addressed that. Any other questions on Varuna, or can I go over to the next slide?
Is it to be done only on one hand or both the hands?
Both of these mudras, both Varuna and Prithvi, can either be done on single or both. It doesn't matter. Now you will ask me, what is the difference between doing it on one hand versus doing it on both hands? When you do it on both hands, both the elements, the left side and the right side, will get equally balanced. Now that doesn't have much of a significance for Prithvi and Jala, because the earth element and the water element are spread throughout the body. But for certain cases, like when we go to the Vayu Mudra, which is coming in one of the next slides, there you might have a gas or joint pain or muscular pains, which may be a result of air in the body. Then you have to decide which side of the body you are having pain, and that side alone will be sufficient. But for these two, there is no caveat or restriction that whichever hand you can do it. Can I go to the next slide?
Yeah, please.
Okay. So now that we have actually seen Varuna and Prithvi, now we come to one of my favorite mudras, the Vayu Mudra. So that is very, very straightforward. You bring your thumb finger and the index finger together, and you keep the thumb finger on top of the index finger. This way. This is ideally done in both hands. And Vayu Mudra is the gesture of the wind. What it helps you with is as follows. It is effective against spondylitis, gout, sciatica, which is a very painful condition. If you have had it, you will know. Gas and any form of rheumatism. Generally, if you have, what can I say, stiff joints, stiff muscles, excessive windy conditions, Vayu Mudra helps. Okay, suppose you don't have any of these conditions. If you have had heavy dinner and even Pudinhara is not working, and you are having acid reflux and air is absolutely not going, you have tried sitting in Vajrasana, nothing is happening, Vayu Mudra will definitely help. It's the gas release or an air release mudra. Air is pretty harmless, but if it ends up in the wrong place, it is very painful. So regular practice of Vayu Mudra will ensure that there is no air trapping. Like sometimes air can get trapped even when we are drinking water. Like, I don't know in your house whether you have a relative who guzzles down water like a rhinoceros, you know, like tuck, 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 tuck. He doesn't even give time to breathe. So more air is going inside than water. These kind of people will have problems later on when they want to expel the air that has been inadvertently taken in because of the speed at which they guzzled in water or something like that. Even same way, if you are watching TV and eating food, our concentration is not on the food. So we have more air than food per se. All these eventually will lead to an excess of Vayu in the body or the excess of unwanted air in the body. And then the solution for that is the mudra that you see on the screen. So how you do it is hand, connect the first index finger, bend it, and the thumb finger, bend it over the index finger, and the other three fingers out. So this is Vayu Mudra, or the hand gesture of the wind. So till now, the three gestures that you saw are Prithvi, Varuna or Jala, and Vayu. So these three elements are fundamentally very important out of the five that are quite helpful for day-to-day practice, whether you have any problems or not. There are no counter-indication. Doesn't mean that if you don't have an air problem, you do Vayu Mudra, you will get an air problem. Nothing like that. So the next one is Akasha Mudra, or the hand gesture of the sky. Now, this is something I like very much. It is also pertaining to one of the questions I received on WhatsApp. That is there any mudra which calms the mind? Akash Mudra is something I do every day before I go to bed, because the amount of crazy things that are happening nowadays, you know, you are very stressed when you finish a day's work, you know, you're like, why did I wake up today? You know, I could have gone to sleep. So this is an excellent mind calmer. It increases Shravana, or the sense of hearing. Now, even if you don't have any hearing problems, if you do this, you will get more, acuity in terms of sound. Of course, if you do this regularly, doesn't mean that you can hear supersonic, subsonic sounds and all that. That's not going to happen. Within the human range of auditory capacity, your range will increase, provided there is no problem with your internal ear organs. Do not expect miracles if the hardware is not in place. Can be used for hard of hearing ailments, especially those who are using aids, hearing aids. If they don't really need it, you can use this to enhance their hearing capacities with or without the aid. What is important for people like us is it helps calcium and phosphorus absorption. So it's extremely helpful for osteoporosis and osteopenia. It's also a helpful remedy for lockjaw. If you know anyone who's had lockjaw, it's again a very painful condition. So it's useful for that particular purpose. I've got one more question from Farzana. How long do we need to practice any mudra before we see the effect? Well, Farzana, as a practice, if you're taking it for alleviating a condition, usually it will take 41 days. If you're doing it at regular intervals, if you have very less of the problem that you're practicing it for, the effect might be temporal but very quick also, but it may not be a long-lasting effort. It's like brushing your teeth. If you do it every day, it will maintain the health of the teeth. If you don't do it every day, it will go back to what your condition was, provided you are still not maintaining your health and continuing the old habits. See, it's like the body is extremely smart. It will like to go back to the bad condition that it is in because it's very comfortable to be in that way. What we are doing with all these things is trying to make it proper. It's like exercise. The day you stop, it will come back. So you need to do it on a regular basis. But to answer your question, as a practice in 41 days. So I'm going to the next slide among the slides. Yeah, this one mudra, it is something which I need all of you to know. You can probably save lives also. It is called the Apanvayu Mudra or the Mrita Sanjeevani Mudra. It is done like this. So you bend your index finger, keep your little finger out, and the thumb finger joins with the, I'm not sure whether the camera is visible. So 1 minute. Yeah, I think you can see me now. Yeah, this is the way you do it. So the index finger in, the thumb finger joined with the ring finger and the middle finger and the little finger out. Why this Apanvayu Mudra is very helpful is because it's a regulator for many heart problems. It done on a regular basis, it can be used to strengthen and heal the heart. So anybody who's gone through an open heart or a bypass, if they want to get recovered faster, it helps. It controls high BP. I haven't had the fortune to try this on anyone yet, but based on research papers published by journals, they have tried this in cases where paramedics have been delayed. So they have been able to at least keep the person without losing consciousness for a couple of minutes before the paramedics arrived on the scene. So if you know somebody who's suffering cardiac conditions and if you're not able to revive them fast, even before doing CPR, ensure that their hands are in this position for a while, then start CPR. It will increase the possibility of their coming back to life. It is a usual mudra. I also do this every day. I am 35. I do not have any heart problems, but I do have heart history because my father passed away with a cardiac arrest. So I do this every day in the hope that I will not pass away with cardiac arrest and I will strengthen my heart. Everybody needs a strong heart. It also reduces your stress levels. So that's good for you. But having said that, this is not going to substitute lack of sleep, or it's not going to substitute an improper diet or some kind of alcoholism or purposely destroying your system kind of things. These things will clean and cleanse, provided you do not distort your system with other things and totally do not allow this mudra to work. So this is based on a principle of ceteris paribus. Everything else remaining constant, the mudra will definitely help you. But if you do things to nullify the effect of the mudra, it's not going to help you anyway. This also, you can do it as frequently as needed. And 3 times daily, 15 minutes per iteration as a course of treatment for 41 days. Post-heart issues, usually what we say is to know how soon a heart patient will be back on his feet after surgery. We just ask him to do this mudra. If he's able to connect his fingers properly, that means 70% he's there. Because usually when your heart is in trouble, you won't be able to do this mudra. You won't be able to connect your fingers. Even if you're sitting at home and trying this now, if some fingers are not getting connected, don't get scared. Oh my God, I'm going to have a heart attack. That's not what it means. It just means that your heart is generally weaker than the other people. You need to exercise it. Either go for exercise, do cardio exercises more, get your vital capacity up. It will help you. So you see, the body has its own way of giving you signals. Disasters do not happen like suddenly. It gives you many warning signals before anything comes. Okay, this is my favorite mudra. I usually see my daughter do this all the time. This is called the Adi Mudra, or the baby's gesture. You often see babies with the thumb finger inside the palm and the four fingers on top of that, like this. It's called the Adi Mudra. It is a beautiful mudra which you can do with breathing techniques, either normal inhale, exhale, or the warrior's breath called the Ujjayi breath. It increases vital capacity and oxygen flow, as well as the amount of oxygen that your lungs can process gets increased if you generally do breathing exercises or pranayama along with Adi Mudra. It is essential in times like these when things like corona are happening and it's fundamentally a pulmonary or a respiratory issue. So even before you put on the mask and go to work every day, do Adi Mudra with 10-12 cycles of breath in an inhale and exhale, and then go outside. It will ensure that even when you're having the lack of oxygen, when you're wearing that mask, you don't feel dizzy. You will be in much better condition. It fosters greater mental peace. Now, if there are people who are internally irritated, now you have some children, like they are always pissed off for no reason, you don't know why, or they have a lot of mental issues inside themselves, they won't tell anybody. And you've taken them to a psychologist or a psychiatrist and nobody can figure out what's going on. Can we get this video for reference, please? I think it's already being recorded, so I think it's available. I don't know. You'll have to ask Mohanji if he's recording it or not. So how you do it?
We are recording and we'll be sharing it later.
Yeah. So hold both hands with the thumb inside the fist in a relaxed manner. That's what's important. Don't make a fist out of it like I'm going to punch you. Just keep the fingers over it like a sleeping baby. That will do. There is no limit on iterations. And this is something which also helps you to sleep. By the way, somebody had asked me a question. Is there a mudra for insomnia? There is. You just do this and do something called the warrior's breath or the Ujjayi breath. For anxiety, which mudra will help? Yeah, if you can do Adi Mudra with breathing, like Ujjayi breathing or thoracic breathing as we call it, breathe in through the nostril, breathe out through the throat. 10-11 cycles with Adi Mudra, most of the people will go to sleep. Like, actually good that you asked this question, because from yesterday, I've installed an app which is helping me track my sleep. Yesterday whole night, I had plugged my mobile to the wall and I had kept the volume on. That thing was recording my sleeping pattern. So I actually have a graph today which showed me that in the 6 hours that I slept, how many minutes were deep sleep, how many were disturbed sleep, how many were awake sleep, and all that. It's a very interesting app. I can share the name of the app if you want at the end of the presentation also. Try it. I don't know whether it works. I just started it yesterday, but I'll track my sleep over the next 40 days to understand what's happening. And why you should do this is when a person's sleep is continuously disturbed for 40 plus days, that means some illness is on its way, 100% sure. If you are able to clock 8 hours of regular sleep, of which 6.5 plus are deep sleep for more than 40 days, even if you are currently sick, that sickness will go away within another 20-25 days. So hunger, sleep, and motion, these are the three cardinal rules of the triangle, the ends of the triangle, which you can ensure that health is always there, whichever age group, whichever gender you are at. So that is Adi Mudra. And why it is called the gesture of the crown chakra is, if you study the science of chakras or the somatic circles in the body, you will find that the crown is here. So everything related to the brain and the nerves in the brain and the functioning of that is controlled by this. Which is why, you know, babies are the most peaceful half of the time when they're sleeping, their hands are in this position. That is the reason. So that is Adi Mudra. Where are we now? We are, okay. How much time do we have, Mohanji?
Maybe you can continue for another 5-10 minutes and then we take up the questions.
Okay, great. So what I will do is I will share another 3 mudras and then we can take questions. So the next mudra is the bronchial mudra. This is essential for anyone who has a habit of going to the doctor every 3 months when the season changes. This bronchial mudra is an excellent decongestant. It's a little bit complex. What you need to do is ensure that the little finger and the ring finger, like this, one second, yeah, like this, are at the base of the thumb, and the middle finger and the thumb finger are joined, and the index finger is pointed outward. It's an excellent decongestant, airs the bronchial area, and it's a long-term solution for congestion and allergies related to the respiratory tract. And main thing is, if you have depression, and I use this word very seriously, if you have depression as a condition, if you are taking antidepressants, try this for 41 days. You will not need the pills anymore. If you regularly do this properly and you are able to control your diet and sleep, you will be off pills very soon. If you need help, let me know. I will make a plan for you, but you need to follow it. You will kick off those pills, because at the end of the day, if you know how to regulate the 3 halves of the lung properly, that will supply more oxygen, productive oxygen, into your brain and other areas of the body. Your vision will be more better and clear. Your brain will not have as much as fog. Over time, depression also, will go away, provided it is not a result of a traumatic condition or an abusive condition. Then you need to treat it otherwise. But if it's normal depression, which is not induced by an event, then bronchial mudra can be your answer. Okay, this one, where should we put pressure on the thumb? On the base of the thumb, Meena. On the base of the thumb. But you don't need to put pressure. You just need to touch the tip. That's enough. This mudra is the Ganesh mudra. Now this is actually done like this. You hold your hands like this, and you hold it to your chest, to the center of your rib cage, and you pull both hands. One hand, the left hand you pull it leftward, and the right hand you pull it rightward, like this. Like the seat belt of the plane. You just hold your hands like this, and you pull this way. You pull outward, and you hold it by your chest. Till you feel your chest pumped up and pushed upwards and outward. What it essentially, but don't take too much pressure. Like, do it as long as you can bear it, like that. But don't put too much pressure. And those who have high BP, do not do this. Those who have previous heart conditions, do not do this. But anybody else, do it on a regular basis. It is sure that you will not get any heart conditions, because your lungs and your heart and your bronchial tubes, everything will become super strong. It's like gym for the heart and lungs. It also aids your 2 hands, right, left and right. So you hold it like this, and then you pull outward. So you hold it like this and you pull. And when you're pulling it, place it to your chest level. 1 second. Let me bring the camera close so you can see my chest also. 1 second. So here, so you hold it at this level, and then you pull. You deeply pull. So you see how the chest is rising. See, now the chest is broken. Then you pull it like this, the chest will rise. So you pull it in such a way that your muscles, bloom and they expand. Like it should come like if they ask you to puff your chest. So that much you should pull outwards. I hope that demonstration is enough, because if you need clearer, then I have to come to your house and demonstrate, because with this video, we can only do this much in terms of demonstration. Yeah. So you can alternate hands, either left on right or right on left, doesn't matter. Repeat for 6 times. This can be done only once a day, maximum 4 minutes. This is a very powerful, strong one. And don't pull too hard, otherwise one side of your chest will start paining. Don't do that. Do it lightly enough that you don't put yourself into trouble. So that is Ganesha. And immediately, sometimes you will find that you feel like burping or something when you do that, because immediately it will increase the heat in your stomach. The next mudra is the lotus mudra. Those who are into arts and dance, they will know this well. It's like hold your hands like this, like a blooming flower, or like you're trying to catch a ball which is hit as a sixer towards the boundary. So you hold it like this and you bring it to the chest level. It's called the lotus mudra. It helps in improving relationships. If you have trauma or issues of how should we breathe, Vijay, most of the time you can breathe through your nose, inward, outward, normal exhalation. Certain ones where you want a more relaxing or therapeutic effect, you can use the Ujjayi breath. Ujjayi breath, you can easily Google it. It's nothing but thoracic breathing. You breathe through your nose. When you exhale through your throat. So it's like, and then see that sound? I'm not pushing it through my nose. So like, and through here, imagine you have two holes on the bottom of your throat. That's where the air should go out. And then the Lotus Mudra opens the heart chakra, so it relieves loneliness. It makes you feel more compassion, love, and affection towards people. It reduces anger to a great level that you're like, okay, let anybody do whatever they want. I am chill. You have your peace. I have my peace. I am in my space. This is very good if you're working in a strenuous corporate job and every day you walk into the office, it's like what is the next bomb which is waiting to explode. This practice of this mudra along with the Ujjayi breath is like, okay, let a bomb blast right in my office. Nothing will happen to me. That kind of chill, like you've seen the Cadbury, that 5-star advertisement, Mahesh and Suresh, you will become like that, like totally chill. So it helps. And you get a lot of grace. Personally, I practice this mudra on a spiritual level also. So a lot of divine grace accrues to you. You can try it. A lot of things will happen in terms of people coming to help you, getting help from unknown quarters and stuff like that. That is one of the spiritual effects of this mudra. Very helpful. So yeah, we come to the end of the presentation. I think I've actually finished on time, thank God. So yeah, Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Let everyone be in a state of health, wealth, and happiness, prosperity. I can now take questions. You can ask them either on WhatsApp or you can come online on video and ask me also, and I'll try to do my best to answer it.
Yeah, there are 1 or 2 questions which have come in advance. We will try to address them and then take the questions on chat.
Okay.
There was one parent who was requesting which mudra do you recommend to control the urine inconsistency?
Urinary incontinence. You can use Jala Mudra.
Okay.
You can use Jala Mudra, but before that, I would like to know certain things. One, is this person a child or is it an older person?
Can I ask the parent to post the question once again?
Because I need to know, is the person a child or an adolescent or an older person, and how long has this been in prevalence, and is it occasionally or is it a daily occurrence at a particular specified time?
Well, Mr. Vyas?
Okay, he is 32 years and it is daily. Okay, and does this happen irrespective, like is it in the, she is 32 years daily. Okay, is it like, one more thing I wanted to know is this urinary problem due to any other accident, like has she lost bladder control because there's been an impact damage, or is it a nervous condition, or like what is it? Because
no,
sorry, I'm asking so many questions.
Yeah, no, not like that. It's happened to her like for last 7 years, 8 years. She is suffering from this urinary incontinence while awake or while in sleep. She is not able to control the bladder. Maybe this urethra is squeezed.
Okay, and this has happened last 7-8 years. Before 7 to 8 years, she was perfectly all right.
Yeah. Or she was able to control. She was able to control that time.
Okay, so one thing would be to you need to strengthen the bladder. For that, you need to do certain exercises. You can Google what a Kegel's exercise is. That's an excellent exercise you can actually use for strengthening the vaginal wall as well as the urethral organs. Over and above that, from a mudra's point of view, you can actually use Varun Mudra exactly in the way that it was shown in the slide, like this one with the hand kept on top. Now I hope her hands are in order. She can do this mudra, right?
Yeah, we'll help her because she may not be able to do it, but we'll help her to do it.
Then what you have to do is take her left or right hand and hold it in this position and keep your hand on top of that.
Okay.
In this way. And it will take at least 20 to 40 days. Immediately, you will not be like a great transformative this one. But two things will happen. One, she will become more aware that when it is going to flow out.
Okay.
That is the first milestone that you know that the mudra is working. Second, slowly, if she combines with Kegel's exercises also, the urine passing impulse will be more. She will get a signal faster than now.
Okay.
So first step will be you will be able to get alarm signal before it happens.
Okay.
So probably you can take her to the bathroom or whatever it is.
Yeah,
After what we'll say around the 41st day or the 82nd day or so, then she will start getting control gradually.
I see.
And you can also try by using pelvic floor strengthening exercises. What about bedwetting of a boy of 9 years happening only during sleep? This is an interesting question, Safija, because this is slightly different from her case. This particular case is one thing you need to know, ensure is that this boy should not sleep on his stomach. Number one, keep him not in prone position, keep him in supine position on the back. What is this? No, let me finish Safija's question first. So he can also use this one, Varun Mudra, but more importantly, keep him sleeping on the back, because the moment he sleeps on his stomach, it increases the pressure on the bladder. Yeah, so those are the two questions. Shirin, I do not know what your question is. Are you asking me a question or are you telling me something? Like, please be clear. You have written Prithvi Mudra Beauty Spa. Yeah, you can call it that. But I don't know whether that's a question or not. Mohanji, is there another?
Yeah, well, I think probably there were 4 or 5 questions which I will read out, which have been answered already. In the interest of the parents, I will share like which mudra can help with anger, anxiety, and aggressiveness, which you explained already. Is there any mudra to calm down instantly when you are upset or angry on anyone, which I think probably you explained that also. Then to get a sound sleep, do you have mudras, which again you explained. For pain relieving, for example, stomach pain, teeth pain, ear pain, is there a mudra? And mudra to prevent hair fall. I think probably most of these questions you answered. Maybe if you would like to highlight anything, you can please do so.
Prithvi will also take care of your hair fall. What will happen? See, hair fall is not only a mudra thing. You need to ensure that the zinc levels in your body are pretty decent, because without zinc levels being in order, and I do not know this hair fall whether it's a lady or a man, because then it can be multiple different reasons. It can reduce hair fall, but I can tell you with surety what hair has already fallen, that will not come back. You cannot grow hair back. Like nobody in the planet has a solution for that. Otherwise, Mohanji will be happiest if in thousands of years, nobody has had a solution to that. So as long as you have hair, take care of it. But to answer your question, stress, smoking, alcohol, and excess heat is the #1 reason why hair falls. Otherwise, it's a genetic thing called male pattern baldness or female baldness, whatever. That is in your genes. Blame your parents for it. Nothing can be done. But if it is lifestyle related, then Prithvi Mudra will help all your problems with relation to hair fall and all that. Any mudra for reducing earwax production? No, let it be. Earwax is a good thing. Do not play around with the secretion systems of the body. It's protecting the ears. What kind of exercise can help frequent UTI, urinary tract infection? Correct. Now, exercise I will not suggest, but what you can do is start taking cranberry juice thrice a day. Thrice a day you take cranberry juice, in 40 days you will not have urinary infection. #2, ensure that when you are using a public toilet, you at least maintain distance between the bowl and wherever you are peeing from, because ladies' toilets are a disaster. And #3, air your bottom region. Do not wear too tight pants or underwear or anything. This is the #1 problem. And drink lots and lots of water. Ideally, it's 3 liters of water. And yes, now that I'm telling you about waters, if you're bored of drinking ordinary water, Some of the combinations I use on a regular basis is cinnamon water is very helpful. Especially if somebody has sugar or something like that, it's very sugar regulating. Cinnamon water, fenugreek, which is the methi seeds, fenugreek water is very helpful. Jeera or cumin seed water is extremely helpful for digestion and those kind of things. This one, tulsi water is good for any respiratory issues whatsoever. What else? Which other waters? Yeah, this curry leaves water is also good if you have acid reflux and those problems. What else? What else? What else? Yeah, that's about it. There are plenty of others, like there's so many other. If you ask me, I can keep on saying.
Sujit, there is another question, like, is there any specific mudra for thyroid?
There are, but thyroid is a whole chapter in itself. So I cannot say something on video without knowing the other co-related issues. Like, is this person a man or a woman? Do they have PCOD? Do they have any other hormonal issues? All these things need to be addressed. I cannot give a random mudra without knowing the full case history. He also has terrible sweating only on head, that too while sleeping. Okay, this is called the gustatory reflex. Usually that is because of one nerve being weak in the in this TMJ, temporomandibular joint region. That is why that sweating is coming. Also check whether he is also getting head sweating when he is eating food, whether it's spicy or not. Then this is a nerve issue. You can do Prithvi Mudra, that will take care of the sweating part. Do we need to boil the herbs or just soak overnight? Yes, he does. Yeah, I knew this because it will be there when he eats also. That's a nervous issue. Just continue with Prithvi Mudra. Do we need to boil the herbs in water or just soak overnight? What I do is I put it on the stove, boil it, put in the herbs. When it's boiling, it infuses, the water color changes. For me, I drink it after meals regularly. That I do it as a general maintenance. But if you want the actual use of it, you should keep it one night over. And then take out the stuff and then only drink the water. When it's a little bit cloudy, when the stickiness of this, the spice comes into, or the herb comes into the water, that's when the medicine has been released. But ensure you cover your water overnight because something might fall into it. Then it's a different concoction, not the herb alone. Any other questions, everyone? Or is that it?
I think probably enough questions have come up, and I think there was one more one, which Prithvi.
Okay, does Prithvi help in trigeminal neuralgia too? I wish it could, but neuralgia is a very specific condition. But having said that, Prithvi, yes, you have a point, because it might, but it depends on how, apart from the neuralgia affected points, otherwise how is the person's central nervous system? Because usually neuralgia does not happen in isolation. There are also other comorbidities which cause that. You have to first identify whether some other things are also causing that issue. Then only you can diagnose. Please show Varun Mudra. Okay, Varun Mudra is, if an adult has tumor, can any mudra help in further growth? Oh my God, I'm sure you don't want a mudra to help further growth. It should actually reduce the growth, right? So I don't know. I'm not going to give you mudras to increase the growth because that is dangerous. But I'll answer this question. Usha, please show Varun Mudra. This way. Varun Mudra is this. Okay, I also have a TMJ issue. I have TN myself. Pujita, I'll have to actually see, these are very serious questions which I have to have a look at the case, then only I can advise, because if you do something, then I am equally responsible for it. So I need to examine properly first, then only I can give you something.
Yeah. What I would suggest, if it's fine with you,
yeah,
I think there are a couple of questions requesting for the website details and others.
Yeah, website wise I don't have, but there is, if you follow my YouTube channel, I just concluded 31 days of mudras. Many of these mudras are very much in detail described over there, including like I'm going like very long, showing my hand and explaining the entire funda behind each of the mudras. So it will definitely let them have a look through that. And then from there, yeah, of course, if you want to learn more, I can also tell you there are certain excellent reference books. One is a book called Mudras by a lady called Indu Arora. It's a very nice book. And there is another one called Mudras and You by the late Dr. Suman Chiplunkar. And then there is one by a foreign author, which it's a basic book, but you can still have it. It's called Mudras by Gertrude Hirschi. I can actually, the YouTube address, just search for I Sujit Sukumaran. So ISUJIT I've typed it on the chat box. You will find my face as the picture of the channel, so you can't miss it. So yeah, that's about it. Did I leave any questions? Did I not answer any? Yeah. Meetaji had a question about tumors. Now, tumors, only one thing can be done. You will have to estimate where the tumor is, whether it's in the head, whether it's in the backbone, or wherever it is. The mudra will vary accordingly, and depends on how big the mudra is also. Essentially, the only thing you can do is to generate heat within the body to probably melt parts, or break the tumor into smaller particulate masses. That is the only thing that can be done, but otherwise nothing can be done. Or you can do mudras to stop the growth or spread of the tumor to an unmanageable size. That also can be done. But removing it from the system is a function of surgery that mudras cannot have. So 2 new messages. I will take these 2 and then I'll give control back to this one. In optic nerves and other parts of the body. Okay. This I will take offline, Meetaji. I will speak to you personally because we know each other. I will tell you the thing what to do. Tooth decay in special kids, can we make them? To prevent tooth decay, simple, brush your teeth every day. There is no other better source than this. Because see, mudras are going to deal with the nervous system. Now, if you want to heal tooth decay by mudras, there is a way. Don't brush your teeth at all. Let him get cavities and let it go in for a root canal. When the nerves are exposed, then I'll tell you what mudras to do, because then it will work on the nervous system. But do you want to wait until that time? I would not suggest doing that. See, mudras are for those which are beyond normal treatment measures. Don't wait until that. Simple brush your teeth every day, that's enough. Impulsive behavior. Which mudra can help? Adi mudra helps, definitely, because they take too many medicines, of which the side effect is tooth decay. Okay, like this. Okay, I need to see what are the list of medications. Then I will be able to tell you what are the reactive elements, and depending on his age, his weight, and what is his diet, then I will tell you the right thing to do. Which is the best to strengthen memory? Memory is of 3 types, Usha. Which memory do you refer to? Do you want, absorption, retention, or recall? All 3 have different mudras. So strengthening memory, I easily forget names. So then it is not absorption or retention, it's more of recall, because you don't need to marry these names. You just need to remember them. I'm thinking you are referring to some cases where, you go to a marriage and people look at you and say, do you remember me? And you're like, yes, I remember you. And then they ask you, do you know my name? And you're like, oh shit, I don't know. If it is this, then the particular mudra is called Hakini mudra. It's like this. You make your hands this way. Like you join, first you do a namaste, then you make your hands in a diamond pattern like this. This way. All 5 fingertips touching each other. And then you touch the, exactly, Mohanji is doing it correctly. You touch the tip of the 2 index fingers on the center of your eyebrows, and you keep it there. Like this is basically, it's called Hakini mudra. It's called the gesture of the shining of the intellect. Usually when you are in deep stress or deep thought, automatically your hand goes like that. So if you do like this every day, this is one way you can remember daily. Another technique is use your middle finger, this one, and keep tapping here. Like here there is a marma called the Lalata Murti marma. This is actually the reboot button of the human body. If you are stuck somewhere, you are trying to remember, oh my God, it's on the tip of my tongue, but it's not coming to me. You just keep hitting here. Within 11 or 12 hits, something will come, provided the raw material is there in your head. If you didn't study it before, simply hitting your head, nothing is going to happen. Provided it is somewhere there inside your head, it will come. It's like that command you give on the PC. Please retrieve the record. If the record is there, then tapping here will work. If it's not there, nobody can help you.
Great. I think, Sujit, it is such an interesting topic, you know. We keep going, and that too, it is so interesting to interact with you. I think all parents are really enjoying with your explanation and details, as well as asking questions and getting responses. Now, can we go on to the main screen?
Sure. I will, 1 second. Screen sharing, stop share. Okay.
Yeah, good. That's nice. And I think probably, I'm sure parents, professionals, and volunteers all over here online have enjoyed the wonderful detailing of what Mudras is. And as Sujit mentioned, that it is too short a time, in a shorter time, he could explain much. And I'm sure that we shall be repeating in future months, because as we were planning, the months what we used to have in the consulate, we shall be having online. So we would be requesting Sujit again to come back and help us understand more about Mudras. Let us conclude with the vote of thanks, and I would request parents to stay back for a couple of instructions. Now I would request our youth icon, Shubhashri, to deliver the vote of thanks.
Namaste. Respected committee members, Mr. Sujit, and all the lovely ladies and gentlemen present today, it's my privilege to propose a vote of thanks on the third day of the event. I, on behalf of Team Prerna and families, extend a hearty thank you to our speaker and presenter, Mr. Sujit, for gracing the event. We're very grateful for giving us an excellent coverage on the topic Mudras for Daily Life, where you've provided excellent and detailed information about the mudras for our parents to try and practice at home. Thank you, Sujitji, for sharing and clarifying about the mudras. We hope to have more interactive sessions with you in the future. We would also like to thank all our participants and would love your ongoing support for all the future sessions. Thank you very much and looking forward to seeing you all tomorrow. Dhanyavad.